Booger is a comedy horror film that will be coming to limited theaters and VOD on September 13th, and I got an early screener to check this film out and let you guys know if it's worth a watch. I want to thank Dark Sky Films for sending this over to me to check out early, so let's dive into the review. After the death of her best friend Izzy, Anna focuses all her attention on Booger, the stray cat which she and Izzy took in. When Booger bites her, she begins to undergo a strange transformation. The film stars Glowicki, Garrick Bernard, and Marcia DeBonis, and was directed by Marcia Dauterman, and I've never seen any of her previous works. With the film Booger, I knew that this film was 78 minutes long, and the fact that it was body horror. I do like body horror films like Infinity Pool and Crimes of the Future, so I really thought this film would be up my alley, and the fact that it was 78 minutes long, that's not a lot to ask for, not a lot to pay attention to, so I was game to check out this film. We have a character named Anna. She is mourning the loss of her friend named Izzy, and she's very much depressed, and we see that because she's going through a lot of different videos, trouble in her relationship, and she's also having some hallucinations after being bit by her cat named Booger, who she is very much obsessed with. He ends up running away, and she starts to really have trouble throughout her life, obviously mourning the loss of her friend, but also having a lot of crazy visuals and visions, and the transformation that she's going under, well, it's a little bit crazy. There are parts in this film where I feel like people may be kind of grossed out if you don't like body horror. There's parts in here where you have her actually puking out some hairballs in a toilet and things of that nature with just the imagery that could turn some people off. I do think this film, with the fact that it is a short runtime, it's not really asking a lot of the audience, but I do feel with the fact that it is conquering the fact of loss and kind of tying that into a woman that is having trouble in her life. And you can really see that because this film, it does have a song in here, the Pina Colada song, in which that really reminds her of good times and peace and mind. And she's really not having that peace and mind, obviously because of the loss of her friend, the cat that's obviously gone missing, and the fact that she's just struggling in life. She ends up losing her job at one point, and she just really goes off the deep end. And you can really see that throughout her visuals and visions that she's having throughout this film, and just the transformation that she's going under after being bit by Booger. The performance here by Glowicki, played by the character Anna, I thought she did a great job here. I think that she really does portray this character well, obviously portraying a character dealing with loss, and the fact obviously she just lost that cat, but just the scenes that really did stick out to me is there is many of scenes here where she's gagging, she's choking, she's undergoing this transformation. There's one scene where she literally pulls out all this hair from her throat, and I was just kind of gagging a little bit. I don't normally do that, but I was sitting there trying to eat a sandwich while I'm watching this movie, which probably wasn't the best of idea, and literally she's pulling this hair out of her throat, and I'm just like, ugh, this is absolutely gross. And another scene too where she's actually eating cat food. I've never tried cat food, and I never will, but I can tell you this, feeding my cats wet cat food every single day, that food absolutely stinks. So the fact that she's sitting there eating that one by one, piece by piece, oh, it was making me gag. And like I said, I'm sitting there eating a sandwich, so I definitely don't recommend eating food while you're watching this film. But I will say, with the fact that there's a lot of cool concepts here and cool ideas that really go into a decent story, and some cool visuals as well, with some decent performances that really do help elevate the film at times. The premise is intriguing enough, and it has some clever ideas to keep you entertained, but I did feel at times that there wasn't enough to really compel a 78-minute story to really get you through the entirety of the film. And it wasn't necessarily boring, but it felt like you were going through the motions in a circle by circle fashion, in which we've just seen that visual, so now we're seeing more of it, and then it gets a little bit confusing towards the end. It gets a little bit rocky. Certain things are explained as the film comes to a close. But overall, I felt like it was a little bit forgettable by the end, as I felt like a lot of the visuals were kind of the same thing over and over, and we kind of got that, and then certain scenes obviously where she's gagging or choking and certain things that she's actually throwing up. We kind of see that over and over. And though the first couple of times it feels kind of shocking, or it feels very riveting and just a little bit jolting to you as you're watching this kind of undergo and this transformation, I just felt like by the end we kind of been there and done that type deal. So it felt a little bit repetitive in that regard. So as far as a score for this film, I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's a pretty good start for a film like this in the short kind of film that it actually is. But I just felt like it felt like a story that was a short story, that was stretched, that needed a little bit more rework to actually have a full-length film. And I think it could have been a lot better. I think there's a lot of good ideas here. I think the performances here are done well enough to really keep you engaged in actually watching this story unfold. But overall, by the end, it just felt a little bit forgettable. So what did you guys think about Booger? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? If you haven't checked it out yet, are you going to check it out when it comes to VOD? Or are you going to check it out at the theater? Leave any and all comments down below, and I will see you guys next time.